Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be where you are, or even if you're watching the recording. How you doing? Welcome. Welcome back to my live stream. My name is Jeff Fritz. It is November 6th, 2018. We're going to write a little code today. Hey, how's it going over there, chat room? I'm seeing a lot of folks over there. There's Janos. Brian Clark is here. Hey, Brian, make sure you check out Clark.io. Let me throw a shout out there in the chat room. There we go. Please follow him over there. There's a link to his channel. Coding with Luce. Good afternoon. That's right. You're in Europe. Turrican. Hello. Shy Sharp is here. Gareth Huball is here. Hello. Coded Beard. Welsh Ronaldo. Good morning. Thanks for the bot there. Caracat. Hey, good morning. Today is election day here in the States. So I'm wearing the hat that I don't exactly have a very patriotic hat with the flag or anything, but I thought NASA is a government agency. That's kind of American, and it's at least red, white, and blue. So it's close enough. But I there it is. I've got my I voted sticker. I did vote this morning. I did my civic duty. Made my way out to the polling place, voted, and I voted for NASA. That's right, Turrican. We made that happen. Send another rocket up. That's what I voted for. No. I placed my votes. It doesn't matter how you vote. In our last federal election here in the States, 30%, 35% turned out. It was dreadful, and folks aren't happy with the turnout. I don't care which way you voted. I don't care if you're happy with the current administration or you're unhappy with it. Do your civic duty. Get out there and vote.
NASA for president.
Thank you, Magnus, for that kind cheer. We will, of course, match that. And yes, we will make a donation to Girl Develop It. Thanks so much, Magnus. And for the first block of code that we get into, I will be sure to drop a little bit of cheer graffiti for you. This is part of a promotion that we're running called Bits for Bytes. So what we'll do is when we start writing some code here, I'm going to drop an entry, a little bit of cheer graffiti into our code. Hey, Clark.io, thanks so much for that subscription. I appreciate that. At Tier 1 sub, you get to use that .NET bot, and we'll, of course, make a donation to Girl Develop It. So let's see here. Let me put together this quick bit about Bits for Bytes. So when we start writing some code, I'm going to drop a little cheer graffiti, a little comment into our code to indicate that Magnus helped support that. So cheered 100 bits on November 6, 2018. We'll be sure to add that into our code. And you can see my notes about that right there. All right. And of course, whoever finishes at the end of the month on the top of that cheer tote board that you see over the chat room, whoever comes in as our top cheer on the month, you'll get to do a live pair programming stream with me right here. So there's a little incentive. And of course, all of our cheers go to Girl Develop It. All right. Thanks so much for the bots, Brian. Very cool. And Gareth, there we go. So let's get some music playing here in the background before we get into our code. You know what? Let's be a little American today. I'm going to go back and we'll start with Blue. There we go. This is, of course, from Carl Franklin's Music to Code By. Music to Code By is a series of songs that are about 25 minutes long, about the same length as a Pomodoro, if you follow the Pomodoro technique. And they help get you in the flow, help get you focused on whatever task it is you might be. They're scientifically engineered to help get you focused. Check it out at mtcb.pwop.com or at musictoflowby.com. You can get a subscription. And Carl just released 3 new songs, and we're going to have one of those songs coming up maybe the end of the week. We'll hit that, and we'll debut his song here on the channel. All right, so thank you very much, Carl. We really appreciate you letting us listen to your music and get focused here on the stream. All right. Let's see. What should we go next? That might have been easier. What might have been easier? There you go. Yeah. Well, absolutely. The hype. Yes. I need to figure out a good way to have a cheer with all the .NET bots going across. Gonna have to come back to that. Hey, Niami UK. Missed the weekend broadcast config in first start. We are really close. I think we've got something that has a lot of potential, and there's a little bit more tuning we can do there. Did I gift a sub to the bot? Somebody did a while ago. The community sub went through, and one went to the bot. It does not have access to everything. It's actually another user. If it subs, it can use the emotes. Yes, which is weird. There's a way to, with the API, configure it so that it can use the emotes, so that it's an extension of me. I need to do a little bit more digging on it. You can set it up as a bot in your channel. It's a little bit trickier than that, right? I mean, you can't define that it's a bot. It's a user that connects into the IRC channel and then interacts with it. And there's some interesting things with the Twitch API where, as I'm trying to declare it as a bot, and you have to behave properly. There's a little bit to go with that. But I want to focus today on CoreWiki. We can come back and we can talk about bots later, but I want to get through. I've got some pull requests here from you that I'd like to review, give a little bit of attention to, because you've taken the time to share some code, share some updates with us. I think we owe you a little bit of attention to go and review those, and then we'll come back and take a look at the project. 3V herd bots. Yes. We are, the Fritz bot that's hanging out here is just another user that connects into IRC. And I thought isn't there a way to get it set up so that it's a bot and it's an extension of me as the broadcaster, so it gets access to all the emotes and stuff. And there's something with that. I haven't quite done it right. You have it log in instead of as a user, you have it log in as a client with an OAuth authentication token, and it is able to behave as you at that point. Hey, Ancient Coder, good to see you. All right, I'm seeing a lot of good friends hop into the chat room here. Fantastic. Thanks so much for stopping by. So let's take a look at some of your pull requests that we have here, and I'll merge Magnus's cheer here into the first block of code that we work on together here on stream. So let's roll over to our code. There it is. Of course, I have the Rainbow Beard Challenge. You can see it right over here. You can see my finger. There it is. For December 1st, if we get to December 1st and we have 5,000 followers here on stream for the Dev Intersection Conference, which is also Microsoft Connect, I will dye my beard rainbow. So follow me, just like Lazarus. Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us here. And we'll add another counter onto that tote board. It should go to 4227 in just a few seconds there. But if we get to 5,000 before December 1st, I will dye this beard rainbow. We have a session with our friend NoOpCat, Suze Hinton, that week, and yeah, we'll make her stand on stage with this mug and a rainbow beard, and it'll be fun to watch her cringe. Hey, Janescu voted. That's great. Thanks so much. Want to make sure everybody does their civic duty out there, and particularly, right, I don't think other countries are voting today, but in the States, if you are a citizen, if you do have the right, exercise that right. Make your way out there and vote.
Thanks for supporting Girl Development.
Thank you. Thank you, Ancient Coder, for that subscription. Yes, and we will make another donation. We are absolutely going to continue to support them, and I'm trying to set up so I can make a donation. Looks like the next one's going to be beginning of December is when we're going to make that donation. All right. Let's talk about some of the code that you shared with us. Some of these some of these are bug fixes. Some of these are, it looks like, updates to our README, to our FAQ, to some of our text to make it a little bit easier for people to see and use. But for each one of the submissions, the pull requests that you submit to me, it's not up there. Our GitHub ticker up at the top of the screen, which seems to have gone missing. Let's see if I can get that to load. There it goes. So that ticker will be updated with your contributions to show that you helped out here on stream. Hey, let me make sure I'm pronouncing. Is that supposed to be Giuseppe? Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. Was sat here thinking, hey, I like this channel. I'll sub to it, only to find you had already been gifted. There you go. 4228 we should be at. Yep. Moving that along. Perfect. Thanks so much. I appreciate you joining us, and I look forward to talking with you in the chat room. Hey, Lazarus, thank you. I appreciate you joining us. So let's talk about some of these code changes that were submitted using GitHub. Of course, we have all of the work that we're doing on this project, our CoreWiki project, which, to remind you, is a simple wiki. It's a content management system, kind of like Wikipedia, that's available. It's open source, available for you to get at GitHub. If you go into the C# Fritz CoreWiki project, there's a link to it down below the video here on Twitch. On the wall, you can see a link to it in my GitHub panels there. All right. Let's take a look. I'm going to start with the oldest one first. I'm skipping over this one about Azure Search. I do want to introduce Azure Search into our wiki as a capability, as a service that you can use to configure the search engine for the wiki project. I'm holding off for just a little bit longer to make sure that we get all of our Azure capabilities together as one project that we'll work on, hopefully for a good span on this month. So I'm gonna hold off on that. It's a good submission. We're gonna get lined up right on that. Hey, Brave Cobra, good to see you. Love seeing some of these friends and names come back through here. There we go. Happy to be back to your old username. What was your first username? What was the previous username? Let's take a look here. This is from Lithics. Change 2 methods that are expecting to be awaitable into asynchronous calls, which fixes... Yeah, we have a couple build warnings that fire funny here. What do we got? Yeah, we're good. We're good. So we have 4 files that were changed, and this is being merged into our dev branch. So yeah, these are awaitable queries here that should be awaited and return tasks. Yeah. Good, that's fine. So in C#, of course, you can have methods run asynchronously by decorating it with the await method, and you return a task, and asynchronously that task will tell you, it'll notify you when the process is done. This is really good when you're doing queries, when you're doing interactions with a third-party source over network, over disk I/O, so that you can wait for it to make sure that it completes successfully before you notify the calling thread. So it removes that blocking so other things can be done while that's happening in the background. Looking for some interesting project ideas. Cool. Oh, I see. Lazarus with only 1 underscore. Please answer by chat, asks Static KR. I cannot speak English. Okay. Can I use the web API of ASP.NET Core only in the communication part of a WinForms program with C#? I'll let some of the folks in the chat room respond to you on that, but of course, you can respond. You can even host web API inside of a Windows Forms application with C#. There's a bunch of different ways to do that, but you can certainly work with it directly, and you can work with SignalR as well. This looks like a valid change, and I am seeing, if I scroll down, where is it? Back over here in the conversation, that the checks had passed. So I'm going to merge Lithics' change in here, because it really is just a bunch of decorations on these methods. So let's go ahead and squash and merge. Turn all of those commits into one. Merge that in. Thanks for cleaning up this issue in our build process. I appreciate that. And that'll trigger a refresh on the scoreboard up at the top. It might not come through right away, but it will be there in a little bit. WebAssembly is fun to do, yes. Good morning, Maker Blaker. Good to see you. All right. So there's our first pull request. Let's take a look at the next one. Default article rename bug fix. Let's take a look at this one. So this is from Daniel. To my understanding, the default article is special to CoreWiki. It serves as a homepage and cannot be deleted. However, it can be renamed. This is something that we did see. This is an issue, something that we should address here. And it causes unwanted functionality. Very good catch by Daniel here. The back to home button appears when you're already on the home page if it's been renamed improperly. Yeah. The delete button appears, enabling the admin to delete this special article, causing CoreWiki homepage to return a 404. Yeah, that's bad. Let me try and pronounce this. Is that Tibesi Dub? Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. So the reason for this bug is that we're performing a slug check against a constant, but the actual slug changes when the topic is modified. Yes. The same check is duplicated across pages and page models. Concept that an article is a default homepage is something specific to our domain, so I've added an is homepage property to our domain article. For the time being, it returns true if the article ID is 1, which resolves the issue of back to home and delete buttons appearing when they should not. Okay. In addition, by adding the is homepage property to the necessary DTOs and letting AutoMapper take care of the rest, we are enabling ourselves to control the logic of identifying the default article. We are enabling ourselves to control the logic of identifying the default article in a single place, the domain object. So this is actually, now Brave Cobra, I know you have some pretty good opinions on domain-driven design and how some of these things, these business rules, are defined and implemented. This sounds like a pretty good solution here, letting the domain decide what is the home page and allow that enforcement of this business rule occur inside the domain, and appropriately raise up an error message, a verification error message, if in fact that doesn't get triggered and maintained properly. So I'm going to look to the chat room. Does this sound like a good solution to you instead of doing just a check that the homepage name matches? That does feel like a weak check that occurs right now in several places throughout the application. Yes, .NET Standard 2.1 was announced. Our friends on the ASP.NET Community Stand-Up, I expect to be talking about that later today. Okay, I am getting some agreement from the chat room. Good. I want to make sure that we're on the same page with this and that I'm not just blindly making a decision here. I want to make sure that some of you who have a interest in this can appropriately help out. I don't love Boolean flags to solve problems like this. President, not sure. I agree with you. I think that using it as let's look at this a little bit, but the idea of using it as a flag and then raising that validation error properly downstream, right? Use that flag inside the domain object, but downstream raise that as a validation error, I think is a good idea. You would want to expose a method that allows you to verify it. Yes. Oh, hey, let me make sure I'm pronouncing your name properly. Let me know. Is it Tibes Dub? Let me know how to, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name properly. I go through this with all of our new pair programmers there in the chat room. I kind of agree with you, Brave Cobra. This allows you to change the homepage. It should not make or blaker. It should help centralize that logic that prevents changing the name of the homepage. Changing the content is something that you should be able to do. If the homepage is identified by the ID of 1, the seed data must seed a default homepage. Yes, it should. It should seed the default homepage. Why not expand this property to a frozen or is static property that can be used to save other articles and won't allow other renames or deletions? That's not a bad idea either, Magnus. To provide a way to protect articles. That's not bad. I think that's a good feature that we should at some point provide. Can you do me a favor? Can you open an issue in the repository and put a little bit of description around that, because I think that's exactly the type of feature that we're going to want as we dig further into editing and maintaining larger systems that are going to have a lot more attention on them. Bucked Druid 1. Hey, how you doing? Thanks so much for stopping by. Oh, okay. Hang on. Is that? Oh boy, can I buy a vowel? Is it yawn kill me? Wyan kill me? Let me know how to pronounce that one. Now that everyone needs to explain how to read their name. You don't have to. I want to make sure that I show you the appropriate respect by reading your name properly here, because I pay a lot of attention to our friends in the chat room. And I think that's something that's important when we have a discussion like this. Good luck with that. Sorry, I have to be AFK. Not a problem. I lean more towards the Magnus way of things. Yeah. If we were, so I kind of agree. Let's back out of making it just a flat Boolean. Let's make it more of a validation against a protected articles capability. And our first protected article, when we default a wiki, is of course the homepage. Need help? Anyone use Python requests? No, sorry. Hey, there's Frank. Should give you my French name. Mon Dieu. No, I don't know. What is the best backend in a C# Windows Forms program? Depends on your needs. Wow, Janos. Okay, you... Janos Audrey Vlad visit you? Yeah. Depends on what you're trying to do with your program. It really does. Okay. I like where we're going with this. I want to take what Daniel has for us to start here, and let's enhance it a little bit, adding and adding a little bit of additional features into this. Now, this is being merged into dev. So we have in the DTO is homepage. Now, DTO is what's being transported across assembly boundaries, right? Inside of our project, we have multiple, inside of our solution, our application, we have multiple projects. We use the DTO, a data transfer object, that's what DTO stands for, to transfer data across those boundaries. So things like our article management DTO and our article reading DTO right now are carrying an is homepage feature. And article search, is this the homepage? Where I think we're right. We may want to turn this into is protected, and then bring that along. And here, right, application DB context on model creating. Here's where it's defaulting the content of that initial homepage. Is first, yeah, this is going to go away when we merge up our first start project. And then down here, search tests, configure automapper null, website profile. Okay, that looks like it should have been there. Delete article slug equals, yeah, instead of checking to see, well, is this the homepage name? It just is homepage. Right. If it is not the homepage. And then on the details, just changed it from view data attribute to view data. That's fine. This is the search page. Passing in IMapper to help with the search articles query. Oh, and move that into AutoMapper. It was not in there. That's fine. Article row. Yep. For ifs homepage is homepage on our article details view model. Good. Okay. Article summary. All right. This looks pretty good. I popped out the chat window and it refreshes all the time. Yeah. System which lets you set up a wiki article ID as the homepage in the settings of the wiki would be better to route a request to the homepage. I like the idea of homepage just being homepage. All right. Let's there's a lot of files changed here. I want to grab this. I'm going to grab a copy of this locally here. Open up my command line. And I work in dev CoreWiki is where I usually work. Let me jump over to my dev branch because we just merged some content into there. Let's make sure I have the latest. Yeah, I don't. I'm 24 commits behind there. There we go. So now I'll pull in the changes here from Daniel. So this is creating a branch off of dev with Daniel's changes and pulling those in. And now I can take a look at what's new in this project. We can actually take a look at that. Yeah, article protection is exactly what we're talking about, and creating a little bit of making it more of a validation and less of a check. Is this the home page? I think we still may need a little bit of a check. Is this the home page? So that we know whether or not to show the go home link. Okay, this is the old index page for first start. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of a lot of these. And actually, you know what we can do? We can just start. Let's just do that. Start this. And then we can talk about article protection. Maybe that's where we jump in here. That's the first little bit of code that we add after we merge in the changes here from Daniel. Doing the thing. Come on. Do it. Start already. Know what I mean? Come on. I'd like to see that built now, please. Oh, we're going through all the JavaScript. Blah, 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 blah. JavaScript, JavaScript, JavaScript. Homepage could be static with different content that would house the navigation. Then you don't have to worry about it being changed. I think there's two different levels of protection we're looking at. Homepage we don't want to rename. There we go. And then here it is. We're going to need to figure this out now that we have an administrator that we create. But it does know that it's homepage and not to show that. It knows that this is homepage and not to show the delete when I click edit. Yeah. Log me in. You know who I am. I went the wrong place. Fine. Admin at CoreWiki. Boom, I'm in. If I click edit here, so it shouldn't let me change the topic, the title. That's something that we do want to lock down. Let me go to the details page there. Da, da, da. Oh, not details. I want to be on the edit page. No, there. All right. Yeah. You shouldn't be able to change the title of the homepage. Homepage is homepage. Hey, Maker Blaker, thanks so much for using your Twitch Prime subscription here. Of course, I'll match that and we'll make a donation to Girl Develop It. But you'll also get the C# bot emote that you can use everywhere you go here on Twitch. Thanks so much. And you can get a Twitch Prime subscription if you already have Amazon Prime. Just link the two accounts together, and you'll get a free channel subscription you can use anywhere you'd like on Twitch. And I'm happy if you're. I'm flattered. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm flattered if you choose to share your channel subscription with me here. I will, of course, make a donation. Should have done that a long time ago. Not a problem. Maker Blaker. Lazarute asks, would you recommend a beginner to do algorithmic data structures problems or projects? If the answer is projects, would you recommend looking for projects which can be done easier in the language I already know, or any project idea that seems interesting and choose the best language for that project? For example, it's better to choose Python, Java than C++ for some project ideas related to back-end web dev. Wow, that's a long question. I'm a believer in hands-on coding. You're going to start to learn algorithms and data structures as you work on a project. And it's good to have a good foundation. But if I've run into the problem where if I can't concretely observe and perceive something when I'm working on an algorithm or a data structure, it feels weird. So for me, it made sense to write a little code, go learn a little. Write a little more code, go learn a little. And I went back and forth like that to push my learning experience. And I would lean towards a better language for a project, whatever works best for that type of thing, right? If you're learning C++ and you're really good with that for doing game development, fantastic, go for it. But if you're building mobile apps, go for Java and work with Java for that so you can build that Android app. Or if you want to work, take your technology everywhere, go for C#. It works everywhere, works great everywhere. It's everywhere you want to be. Hey, Tiago, good to see you. Good afternoon. So looking at this, the article topic for a homepage shouldn't be editable. So part of me wants to comment that out if it is, in fact, the homepage. Hey, Mr. Regs, good to see you. All right. But it looks like navigating around here is working properly. Right? And if I do try to change the topic here, Jeff's Wiki of Wisdom. The following links to CoreWiki articles that do not exist were found in the article. Would you like to create these articles now? No. So it changed the title and it changed the slug. And if I go to the home page, actually it still routes over there. Jeff's Wiki of Wisdom, it still thinks it's the home page. That's interesting. Hey, Padada Palman, good to see you. Is that the behavior we want? Do we want you to be able to change the title of the homepage? What do you think? User admin, well, whatever. But seeing it over here, right, if I click through to this, I can click back to home, which puts me back on Jeff's Wiki of Wisdom, which doesn't have the return to homepage button. That's good. What do you think? I mean, I guess that works for me. To be able to change the title and it still recognizes it as the home page. Otherwise, we enforce output to the user. Okay. Then back to home is a bit misleading. Yeah. Yeah. Right, if I go over here, back to home, it is a little misleading. But it is still the home page, right? If the renamed page behaves in every situation as the home page, it should be okay. That's what it looks like, Stealthy. Selecting the wanted page as home could be a setting then. It could. It could. Game dev seems to be a really interesting field. Math and physics can both be applied, as well as programming languages. I would keep it strictly as a hobby. I'm a student, and I can't say I'm thinking about the industry. Fair enough. As a student, and I think that we have a number of professional developers in the chat room. I think they'll agree with me. As a student, you should know going into any software development field means that you're going to continue to be a student. You're going to continue to learn all the time. And learning new methods, new techniques, new internet services that you're going to need to connect to and use, new hardware you're going to need to work with. I mean, 15 years ago, there was no VR, AR helmets that people had to think about. There were no iPhones that people were programming towards. These are inventions from the last 10 years. So be ready to continue learning. Tiago is a professional developer, and you never agree with me.
Wow.
And
you blow it!
Sorry. Tiago is still learning and still working with COBOL on a mainframe from the 1970s. Do I have that right? Do I?
Oh my.
No. Quoting Mark says, maybe the homepage should have in brackets homepage regardless of the name edited. That's not bad. That's not a bad idea, quoting Mark. I'm not sure I like the word display name in new comment. Oh yeah, that needs to be fixed. Sure. Actually, that might be localized, and it hasn't been localized yet. Maybe use a home icon in there. That's another good idea, too. I'm a professional dev, learn every day, and part of it is learning to teach and pass along new knowledge. Amen, Hugo Dahl. That's why we need to write good documentation. Yes. Well, whatever you call the page, start page, home page, that should be shown at first is only wording detail. Fair enough. Yeah. Hey, Nando Sang, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us here in the chat room. You know, thinking out loud, the label for this is upside down. Because if I want to drink it so that you can see it, the spout is at the, well, it wouldn't always be at the top, would it? Right, if I did a thing, no, it always ends up on that side. Whatever. Right, it's the same way on this one. Right, and actually, right, if I drink it this way, it's still upside down. I don't get it. There's a way to make the label appear the right way. That's weird. Good docs include helpful comments, especially XML comments in .NET. Yes. Should the current page home icon be a carton box then? I wouldn't mind putting a little home logo over here, right? A little house to indicate that this is the home page. Labels are for Batman and bats. Okay, so let me summarize some of the discussion we have here. Let's come to a little bit of a consensus. We agree that the home page, the front page, that start page, you should be able to change the name of it. I like Jeff's Wiki of Wisdom. But we need to have some way to indicate that it is, in fact, the home page, the start page. And the return to home page button should show return to homepage article.title or similar. Then this will be clear where it is pointing to. Oh, can I increase the font size? Certainly. There you go. That should help a little bit. Dedicated table for homepage configuration. That's not bad either. Okay. Let's do this. I think the submission that we have here is good, is valid. I want to merge this, and let's talk a little bit further about homepage configuration. Let's blast this out as a little bit more here. Excuse me. This is really cool and helps and has started a good conversation around protecting articles and configuring the homepage. I like where we're going with that. I think the homepage should be an article, and I'll explain why. Admins and maintenance folks want to be able, admins, moderators, editors are going to need to be able to edit the content of it. And because they're going to need to be able to edit the content of it, we already have a facility to do that, and it's an article. It's a special type of article. It's almost a super article, though, that we do need to handle differently, and we should make sure that we address and and manage that appropriately. Oh, I don't have Karnak on. Ooh, you're right. Let's turn Karnak on. Karnak I usually have running here in the background, and that utility that shows my keystrokes that I'm using, you should be able to see here. Yep, there it is. So there's Karnak, and you can see I have 3 screens here. You're only seeing what's on screen 1. Screen 2 is where I have OBS hiding. That's my video processor that's putting together and assembling what you're seeing on stream. And screen 3 over here is where I have the chat room, so I can take a look over here, and it looks like I'm looking at the chat room on that side of the screen. I've also got some other stats up there so that I can see what's going on Twitch. All right. Could we have a table in the database for pages? Explain a little bit more about that, Ancient Coder. Let's dig into that. If you keep the homepage as an article, you always need to check for it everywhere. Well, I think as we add other types of articles, other pages that we want to protect, you are going to need to do those checks when you're working on that. Yes. There are, yes, absolutely. Hugo Dahl, yes, yes, yes. That was really loud, I'm sorry. There are other special pages, changelog, news, and these are, they have some of them will have article-like features, some of them will not, and they will be different. Pages are for homepage and other pages we don't want to be edited, and articles as they are now. Now, can I throw something else out there for us to discuss here in the chat room? And I love the discussion today. This is really cool. I agree, Brave Cobra. Let's introduce a page type. Can a page have code on it? Hey, Robert Tables, thanks so much for joining us. We're having a great discussion here. I hope you see it here in the chat room on the side around what is an article. Is the homepage an article, or is it something a little bit a little bit more. And I think Ancient Coder has the right idea here. The homepage is a page, and you can change the name of the page so that it appears a little bit differently, because it does have a little bit more to it. There's a little bit more importance to it. Homepage is an article with extended settings. Yeah, a page has some extended settings to it, and a homepage is one of those. Perhaps a set of flags. Do we want to allow comments on the homepage? Should not be sluggable. There's another good one. Yeah, Janos. That's a very good point. I love the comments and the discussion we're having here. I want to capture this, though. You know what I mean? So here's what I'm going to do so that we can capture some of this discussion, because this is really good. Oh my gosh. Fantastic. Yes. Should not allow for the following: renames, deletions, content changes. Okay. I think we also want to put... I'm going to add some labels to this. This is an enhancement. I'm going to mark this as help wanted. And I'm going to mark this as a question, because I want to centralize our discussion so we can persist this, because I don't think we're going to finish all of these capabilities today. But there's some really good stuff here. Yes, allow comments, editable, protected, allow deletion. Yes. I think that's what I've got here with question. I'm happy to add community discussion. I can add that, sure. If you keep adding rules for 3 or 4 special types of articles, then you need to separate this from an article. Protection of articles is one concern. Special pages like homepage, about should be static-ish and not sluggable for special cases. That's not bad. That's not bad. This is a great logic discussion here, and I'm really enjoying it. It technically should be able to set any article settings permissions similar to home. Yes. Wouldn't you want to slug maybe like FAQ or news? Yeah, Hugo, I think you've got a good point there. The slug for these should almost be protected, so that FAQ, news, latest changes can't be inadvertently navigated to. It can't be renamed, it can't be deleted, it can't be sluggable, it can't be commented, then it can't be an article. Let's define an article real quick, right? In looking at an article, I think of an article as it has text content that we're rendering as Markdown and then eventually as HTML that we're keeping a version history of. Each rule should be in a separate class and be applicable to an article as sort of operators. That's interesting too. Is one article per page or possible to have more articles on one page? Ah, there's another good one, right? Because clearly, when we look at things like latest changes, we are showing multiple articles on a page. You can't have editability and reliability consistency. Well, for the content is very nebulous. It's very open-ended. People can write that. Ah, there we go. And thus introducing layouts. Yes. Yes. A page can have static content changed only by site operators and SEO controlled. Oh, Robert Tables, SEO optimized, I think is a very good point there. Yes. So a page could be marked as having article as content or feed as another content. Perhaps we do have an RSS feed capability, right? If I do an F12 here and we look at the page inspector, there is a link for the RSS here. And if we click into that, I haven't used this in a while since we added this a long time ago. Oh no, that's the wrong URL. It should, well, all right, we're going to have to fix that. It should be, there it is. And there's our latest changes. Consume an RSS feed displayed on the page. Oh, sure, sure. That's another great example of a good feature. But I want to capture these so we don't lose them and we can be sure we work on them. Or if folks want to submit pull requests, you can do that too. You'd prefer not to inherit. Hang on. Tiago has a comment here. Yeah, I'm going to allow that. Okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, these are slightly different. I don't want to inherit, but I almost want to extend. Like add an RSS feed and consume that as articles. That would be interesting too. I don't want to cut off the discussion, but I do want to address the other pull requests that are out here. I'm going to leave this issue here. Let's put some of these notes into this issue, and I'm going to share this issue here in the chat room so that you can click through to it. Somebody was asking about the cups earlier. If you look, folks have different colored cups. Purple is a subscriber. A red cup is a 3-month subscriber. If you see somebody with a blue cup, they are a 6-month subscriber. And if you see someone with the gold cup, and I think I'm the only one, that's 1 year hanging out on the channel. Cumulative subscriptions coming soon. Yes, Robert. Being the homepage is more of a property flag than an extension. Yes, but those properties, I think, are an extension of an article, right? We've got to store it somewhere. If an article is, right, if our typical articles, if our garden variety articles are just stored inside of our article table, to have another table next to it with the extended properties of it that will merge together, I think, or even if we extend the article object to have those properties, I think is not a terrible way to manage that. All right, I'm going to stop this. I want to address the other pull request that we have out here, so we can take a look. I want to get these last two merged in here. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I don't know how to pronounce that. And this is boy. This is a family-friendly stream, and I'm not comfortable reading the English translation of your name. I like the Jack in the Box, the happy Jack in the Box emote. Thanks for joining us. But I don't want to call out your name. I'm sorry. Because that can be a trigger for some folks, and I want to make sure that everybody's welcome here. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you have something to contribute here, if you want to chat, that's great. I'm not a fan of your. Yeah, I'm not a fan of your nick there. I'm sorry. Okay, Janescu says, I was thinking Fritz Twitch currently doesn't include mod tooling, so with Twitch mod tools update, it could be... Ooh. Oh, that's on the Stream Tools project. Okay, that's different. We can... yes, we could do some of that stuff over there on that project. You're welcome to open an issue to record that, and we'll come back to that on another stream. We're focusing on CoreWiki today, and we've had some really good discussions here around this feature. Could we add a property of article kind, an enum string, normal, homepage, FAQ to the article? Stelzy, that's not a bad idea. I would almost want to do a flags enum. So that we can concatenate them together, right? If we use bitwise flags, we'll be able to set multiple flags on that to be able to, and then we have one field, and we can have, right, upwards to, depending on our database, 32 or 64 flags that we can set. So I like the idea of a bitwise enum. Let me come back to that. I want to make sure that I give, it looks like ArgTang here has 2 more pull requests, and they don't look too bad here. I want to make sure that I give that I give him the respect, that I give them the respect due. I don't know ArgTang's gender. In reviewing these pull requests, and then we can come back and let's talk more about the page here. I think this is a really good discussion here, and I want to dig into it a little bit more. I think there's some very valid things that we do want to address here with the homepage, and I also want to show you how I fixed and completed where the first start project is. So let's finish this. Let me show you what I did to first start, and then let's come back and talk about homepage. And I think we might be able to agree that first start is pretty well done. There's some tuning we can do to it, but for the first start capabilities, it does it. We need some validation and some other in there. Currently on mod tooling parts, timeout user, ban user, unban user, return false in Twitch service. Yes, Janescu. In that project, we do need to appropriately handle those capabilities. You're welcome to submit a pull request, and we'll certainly review it and work on it. But I want to focus on CoreWiki today. Robert Tables, making sure we give contributors some nice attention. Yes, absolutely. So clarify text. Saw on the VOD that there was some confusion around how HIBP is have I been pwned, right? This is Troy Hunt's website where he tracks all the various password leaks that happen out there and allows you to search to see exactly how exposed your password might be. So it looks like ArgTang gave us some cleanup here. That's fine. So changing the default request headers for when we connect out to them. Find end of hash results in from, yep, that's fine. This is, looks like strictly a rename on a couple of properties here. That's fine. Not a problem. All right. Thank you for clarifying this code. Makes it more readable for other contributors and folks who may want to emulate this feature set. The feature that was introduced here will do a check to see if the password that you're trying to reset to is a commonly known and used password that's out there in the Have I Been Pwned repository. We got to get C# Fritz on the Bitmoji train for PRs. Robert, that is very much something that's I consider that a trademark, a hallmark of something that our friend NoOpCat Noopcat does on Sunday mornings. I think she does a great job with that, and I'll let that be her trademark. She does a great job encouraging folks using that. Did you know he moved his website to Azure Functions with millions of requests? It costs him about $33 a month. Yeah, that is very cool. And we can look into that further. Maybe there's an opportunity to enhance CoreWiki to be only Azure Functions. Is that Suxano? Not another one that or Suzino? Let me know how you pronounce that. Thank you for the follow. I'm hoping it's not somebody who's trying to troll us, but thanks for joining us. Not only function, but we could use it for sure. Yeah. I think there's an opportunity to use Azure Functions, especially if we think that our articles are things that could be stored in Azure Storage, and all of our interactions are just saving things and fetching things from Azure Storage. Which, right, in AWS, right, they call it block storage? No, S3. We could store things in S3 and fetch. And bits for bytes emoji. That would be a great emote for us to create. Let me back up for just a second. So, there we are. So you may have seen me on Twitter. I've been very excited. I've been talking about I applied for Twitch Partner. Twitch Partner is a status. I'm currently what's called a Twitch affiliate. A Twitch affiliate allows you to set up subscriptions so you can have emotes on channel, but you only get one emote, one, and one at each of the 2 higher subscription levels. So you actually get 3. But at the first level, you only get 1. But what this does allow you to do, and what the only reason that I want it to be affiliate, is it allows the video to be transcoded. So as I'm broadcasting here, I'm broadcasting at 1080p at 60 frames per second. That's why it looks so cool and refreshes so nicely. I wanted to be affiliate so that it would transcode and give you, no matter where you are, an appropriate display. The highest level contributor you can be as a broadcaster on Twitch is called Partner. And Partner always has transcoding available and can have more emotes available for subscribers on stream. So there are requirements in order to be a Twitch Partner. I have checked off all of the requirements, and now I need Twitch to effectively sign off and approve and say, yes, we want Jeff to be a partner. If they do, I'm going to get to design some new emotes, and I think a Bits for Bytes emote would be very cool for us to have on stream. Nando sang, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that. I agree, Brave Cobra. You can never have too many emotes. So there you go. Just wanted to give you a little bit of that. It's a little inside baseball. It's a little behind the scenes, but I wanted to let you know that's what I'm trying to accomplish. We need a Fritzbot march organized to get this pushed through. That's fine by me. All right, so let me take a look at the last little bit here. Added a tip for the .NET Watch into the FAQ. Added a section to the FAQ to make the contributor guide more visible. Let's see what was added here. To run the latest version on your local dev machine, git clone, cd CoreWiki, npm install, .NET run. Yeah. Bulbs, you can also use the watch command. It will rebuild CoreWiki when you code change .NET Watch run. I want to contribute. And here's a link to the contributing. If you see a to-do in code or see small improvements in current functionality, you're welcome to make a pull request. Yes. To find a task that has been discussed, search in the issues for help wanted. Yep, there you go. And a link to that. Very good. If you want to try adding a new feature, please open an issue so C# Fritz can review the idea. Fantastic. I like it. That's an easy one to merge. I'm always happy to merge things that are documentation. Thank you for adding this to the... Right, this was... Which file was it? It was the README, yes. Thank you for adding this to the README. It's always nice to encourage new contributors. All right. There we go. And that should put Argtang on some... Right, I'm just taking a quick look here. So there's stream tools going across. Here comes CoreWiki. Top for the week. Yeah, see, no contributors. Let's force that scoreboard to refresh. Because there should be some updates. Right, we haven't done anything on stream tools this week. Top for the month, top all time. Good. All right. Here comes CoreWiki. Top for the week. There's Arctang with 2, Lithics with 1, Daniel with another 1. There we go. Arctang with 4 so far in the month. Daniel Roth from the ASP.NET team with 2. Fantastic. Top all time. There's Smab with 50. Ashley Broughton with 45. Erwin Dev. Yeah, 17. Emo with 12. There's Frank with 11. All right. Love seeing that. Love seeing it. Particularly great today. Yeah, you are, Brave Cobra. Absolutely. I like a bot that counts certain quotes being mentioned. Like, I agree. Hey, Mawardi. Good to see you. You actually did something like that? Speech to text bot with Q&A maker. Ooh, okay. Okay. We can do that. We can absolutely do that. This shouldn't be applied to the homepage. Think of Wikipedia. When you have articles, only some people can edit them. That applies perfectly to that case. The problem is homepage, FAQ, news aren't an article. Maybe the homepage has various images. FAQ has a list of questions. You think it should be a different class or table. So this is the idea between, right, these are pages, which do have some edit capability. It has some different levels of interactions, but it's different. Captures, tracks, counts. That would be cool too. Okay. That would be very cool also. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. Spa app about quote showing and be able to add some quotes. Okay. Capture the audio, speech, text, then count matching something similar. Yeah. Hey, Cam does cool stuff. It's good to see you. All right. I want to show you what I did. Before we get back into the discussion of the homepage, I just want to show you real quick, while I'm here and breaking things. Breaking things? Me? Yeah, I'm breaking things. I need a break sound. I need like a glass window breaking. And I need to get this cheer in here. Glass window breaking sound effect. Need to get that. Okay. I did get a new sound effect for today. We'll see if it comes up. Let me go back to our dev branch. Merge that in. All the things that we did out there. Let me show you what I did with first start. Get checkout. Thank you. Let's merge in stuff from dev. Yeah, get merge dev. Yep, we got some breaks. Fun. And then I'm going to fix these merges, which is going to be a treat because it always is. And then we'll commit it back up, and I'll seek your approval to close out this project because I think I have it working. Now, it needs some validation still, but the base functionality that we're looking for, I think, is working. Oh, we still have the feisty goat and the chapel hanging out here. Oh my gosh. All right, we'll get back to those. All right, we'll figure that out. I was in CoreWiki first start. Actually, that's not where I want to be. Let's go over... Are you kidding? What are you doing here, Visual Studio Code? Of course there's a Visual Studio. There is a source control provided. Break it, and then you can fix it and make it even better. All right, hang on. And then the AI listens, answers, and writes to text. That would be fun to hook up to Fritzbot. For me to actually ask it questions, very much like Alexa. Hey, Fritzbot, why is this happening? And for it to go find the answer and write it into chat. That would be kind of cool. And play audio clips if it needs it. Ooh. Wow. That's really cool idea, Janescu. Microsoft Bot Framework has that by default. That it can listen to. Really? I need to see more on that. That's deleted. That's fine. All right. Startup extensions over here. What's our merge issue? Yeah, this is. Okay. I want to accept the head. The current change. I want that. Okay. Article row. Article row. Article row. I want the incoming change on this one. That's the only change there. Good. Save that first. Merged. Details. We have one change here, and it's this one. I want the incoming change. And we'll add that. Delete. One change here, and it's the article is homepage, so I want the incoming change there. Good. Save that. Add it. Fantastic. Yes, and that was deleted. Yep, delete. Merge from dev. And I'll key in my passphrase so everything's validated as me. All right. I think we're good. Good. Yep. Reload everything. I just triggered your echo. Alexa, turn on the lights in Cam's office. Did it work? Alexa, set the temperature to 95 degrees. No?
Oh my.
We're going to make Cam sweat this one out. Sends the message to the bot as text. Neat. Sorry, I didn't find the device named Cam's office. Please try again. Glad you have headphones on. Alexa, set the temperature in Robert Table's office to 42 degrees. Fahrenheit. All right. Yeah, there you go, Janescu. There's a good command for Brian's office. Alexa, play the hamster dance song.
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
All right. All right, so let me show you real quick what I did in here. So we ran into this problem with the first start project where after you set your configuration, we need to actually restart the application because an interesting thing happens. In startup, we have these two, in ASP.NET, we have these two methods in the startup class that get fired when our application starts. The first is configure services, and this is where we configure our dependency injection container, right? This is where we make services available that are going to be used across the entire application. And then we have our configure method that actually does the configuration of our HTTP requests. Yeah, right. So when we change in our first start application, we have this first start feature. We have this capability. Yeah, I know. I didn't want to move that. We have this capability where you want to be able to set, here's my database. Here's my database provider. And in ASP.NET Core, our database provider is bound to Entity Framework at configuration time, at first startup. But because we're looking at the web page, we've already passed first startup. So we can't go and rebind to it and reset our dependency injection container after it's already started. So what do? I'll tell you what we do. We get sneaky about it. What I did was, I have a flag in here that says completed. And if we aren't completed, we prompt you here, go fill out all the things that we need to configure the application. If it is completed, I'm going to say installation completed. Let's restart and redirect back to the home page. So I set a JavaScript timeout that says, okay, go back to the home page, and we're going to need to address that at some point. But wait 5 seconds and then do that redirect. Meanwhile, server side, I'm going to run asynchronously, thread sleep, and then continue by restarting the host. And that way I'm not rebuilding the dependency injection container. I agree, never use thread sleep, but this is a very, very unique circumstance where I'm actually killing the process, and I want to kill the process after I'm done painting the screen. I need to paint the page. I need to let this web page finish painting and then restart it. Kill the web server, restart it. Hey, C7 Meteors, thanks so much for the follow. And then go navigate to the homepage. We don't need to restart at all. How are you going to avoid it?
And then?
How should we get around this? Bot microservice as update and push the update. No. You're creating a task which uses a thread and goes and gets another task to restart the host. Yes. Who restarts there? So here's the thing. This is on first start configuration only. You've deployed a new version of the application and you need to fill out, here's how I want it to be configured. After your first configuration is done, this never runs again. Right? In production, this never runs. This is strictly a configure the configuration. By using the DI itself, register a factory method in DI. But that's only ever used, I only ever need it as a factory method once. Adding extra logic for this exceptional, and it truly is exceptional, 99.999% of the requests that come in, even, right, it's going to be almost 100%, are never going to see this page, are never going to run into this logic. So to, right, the other options are things like run this as a completely separate application. Run this, it is extra logic, and it is extra logic. It's only sitting inside this first start project. It's completely isolated. It's not part of the standard project. The only thing that's hanging out here is inside program. I have a host stop and mark this as needs to be restarted. And I let it run again. Yeah, this is an exceptional circumstance. Everything is extra logic is it the right logic? I agree. I think while here, because it's going to be marked as true, we don't want it to restart after it enters the loop. And then build the web host so it rebuilds everything and then run it. When we want it to restart, we mark restart as true, stop the host. So this exits and then it'll restart. So that's, without writing and changing and making it difficult to work with Entity Framework and some of these other things, adding extra logic just to jump through for when the connection string changes. And it's only ever going to change once. I think we're okay. Thank you, Atif Mir. This increases the amount of WTFs. If there was an easy way for me to reload the dependency injection container, I'd agree with you, but there isn't. Having a factory method in the dependency injection can pay off more in the long run than an extra app. What happens if they get the connection string wrong? That's something that I think we should add some validation for, but for the purposes of this running and doing its thing as giving us a first start wizard to define who's our admin, I like it. It works. Restart. But we don't need to reload it. We don't need to. So, why don't we need to reload it? Someone who just wants to launch their own wiki really quickly, who's even going to notice? Exactly, Maker Blaker. Let me just take a second and show you what the configuration experience looks like. And I think you might agree, it's actually kind of nice now. Register a factory that returns the installed Boolean. But see, then I'm creating a factory to access Entity Framework, which is going to make it trickier everywhere that you need to use Entity Framework. I mean, literally, you're changing everywhere that we're going to interact with the database for the sake of this one extreme? This one circumstance. So if I define my admin username, I'll make it this person. I'll make my email address this. I've already got a password. Choose my database. And my connection string I'll leave blank because it's SQLite. But I could make it whatever I want. I need some validation behind this. But here's what's happening. Installation completed. Now restarting and redirecting to the home page. And voila. And we're off and running. And I'm in a brand new instance of the wiki, and it works great. And now I can have it cached. Entity Framework already uses a factory. It actually uses its own dependency injection container, which you don't have typical access to. This is one exceptional circumstance. Yep, it is. That's oh my gosh, Maker Blaker. That's a great term for it. This is an installer. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So I'm okay with this. Installers via browsers. Well, installer for a web application. Yes. Words matter. You're right. This keeps feeling wrong. Okay. Give me a suggestion. Because here's the other thing. You also don't necessarily have to submit and go through the first install experience because we're updating app settings JSON. If this is a Docker container, you could submit this configuration, all of these things, through that. The only thing, you wouldn't have the default user. You still need to create the default user. Yes, Hugo. That's actually one of the inspirations for this feature, the way WordPress does it. A code smell? No, that's not good. No, that's not good either.
Do it live.
No. Oh, how about this? Well, I've already done.
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
Or maybe this one.
Right.
That one's better. WordPress doesn't restart the host. WordPress is completely dynamic, and those PHP files get reloaded on the fly because it's all interpreted. So, which leads to a whole world of security problems for them because those PHP files get rewritten by WordPress, which is itself a problem. Is just not a good example for anyone to follow. Actually, I'll disagree. As an engine, as an application experience, I think WordPress is actually pretty impressive. For the things that it can do, how it's constructed, how it interacts with the file system, I agree is not something we should emulate. But the fact of the matter is, more than 30% of the internet runs on WordPress. So there's that. Never designed for the cloud, for example. High availability deployments are just kind of a huge hack. Okay. Rewriting itself for the templates or, yeah, right. Right, wanted. Absolutely. That doesn't make it good. Good's in the eye of the beholder. So, I'm going to merge this in. I'm happy with it. It delivers the desired functionality. There's opportunities for additional validation here. Some of the comments that we are seeing around, well, we should probably test that connection. And we also need to figure out a better way to store our and to manage our identity. With that reasoning, I can approve any merge request. I am. It is my project. Yes. Nobody is suggesting an alternative, right? And if there is an alternative, if there is a suggestion and a pull request, we're happy to review it here and discuss and go through that type of thing here. Quoting Mark. Let me come back to that. I like where you're going there. Atif Mir, did I vote? Sure did. I voted this morning. Gatsby, reading from WordPress headless at build time is a great idea. If you want to dig out of a tech debt hole, there's a suggestion. Isn't it a better idea to create a JSON representation of the template and store it in a database and cache? That works. I think we have things here where we could swap in because of the way that Razor class libraries work. You could actually swap in new create, delete, details, edit pages and search pages. You could do that. Would you ever make this multi-tenant is the question from Quoting Mark. I think that's something that we'll look at sometime in 2019. I think that's a great idea and something to figure out. Just need to find time to set up a proof of concept. Yeah, so this works. This is the straight-ahead solution based on the fact that the dependency injection container is not resettable. And I don't want to go change the way that we reference Entity Framework everywhere into something that's non-standard and a little bit trickier. I think it's the most sensible, pragmatic approach to solving the problem. Yeah. Schema with parameters like connect to other schema for app settings like data provider. Yeah, there's all kinds of things like that that would come in the future. It's outside of scope for right now. Configurations are monitored, and then you don't even need factory methods. You do need factory methods because the configuration for Entity Framework contains a provider. And when you do that configuration, it doesn't refresh that configuration. It's down in here. Here. Right? We need to provide, there's a provider being used here for Postgres. There's a different provider being used here for SQLite. And when we introduce other providers, you need to include those appropriately. And that method call, this method call, there is no callback that says, oh, configuration changed, let me go rerun something. This is being injected into the dependency injection container with this configuration. I can't change it after it's already been set up and it's in the container. The only problem with storing configs in the database is that you need to set up the database connection to begin with. Yes, you need that default database. So you could put it inside a SQLite so that you have, it's in a SQLite, but now it's a file database. It isn't going to scale. You might as well have it in a JSON file. So that's the problem there, Janos. Which you still need to populate. Yep. So we're chasing that problem. For what I'm trying to accomplish, I'm happy with this solution. And then I want to get back and let's talk about the homepage. Right? So I'm going to push this and I'm going to close out the project. Because for what we need to get this working, it works. We could use some validation on it. We could use some error handling. We can do some of that stuff. This is an example of runtime variables affecting dependency injection. Yes. Thus, register a method that returns the correct configuration object based on that runtime variable. All this discussion leads to a point that ASP.NET Core is freedom. Absolutely. And using an external source like Key Vault. Absolutely. There's another great point. Brave Cobra +1. What are you +1ing? So that's registering that method means that we're not doing this. You're not referencing Entity Framework directly. You're instead referencing a factory object that digs out and returns to you Entity Framework, which means that everywhere I'm using Entity Framework, I've got to change that, and it's going to behave differently. Returns the options which are used via scope. The Entity Framework doesn't request an option snapshot. It won't get the reload. So I'm happy to look at a solution for this that you think is that you're proposing is more elegant. Why not register in the DI in child providers? What do you mean? In Fritzbot, that's way wrong. Register it at child. Okay, so now that means that we're going to be adding additional complexity to dependency injection, right? We're adding a lot of complexity here when this is a one-time configuration. This is a one-time installer issue. Why not just restart it when it's done? I don't think the service provider can have child service providers. The default ASP.NET Core. I don't think it's using it. And yes, Fritzbot does use Q&A Maker. I'm not sure about that. Right? Right? I mean, okay, service worker's different. Build service provider, no. I mean, we're talking about adding a lot of complexity here to solve literally an installer problem. ASP.NET Core service provider, child provider. Right, service provider. We should up the minimum threshold. Yeah, I kind of agree. Not only installer, but also sanity check between restarts. Well, I don't think we have we don't currently have a need to do restarts anywhere else. Okay. Default service container replacement. Yes. Some of the features supported in third-party containers not found. So we would have to bring in a third-party container like AutoFac. It can be done. Do we really need to do that? Health checks? Yes. Health checks is another feature in ASP.NET 2.2 that could use the same logic. Yes. Absolutely. As we introduce and integrate those features. Yeah, I agree, Atif Mir. And I want to move on from. We don't do restarts except when the service actually restarts, right? Crashes. It's IIS going down. Sure. That's right. That's your typical restart scenario. There we go. Good. I think the added complexity doesn't warrant its addition for this one-time special snowflake condition, which will only be once in the lifetime of the wiki. Yeah. So we do have more than one potential restart. Well, hang on. Those restarts are managed by the service that's managing the host, right? IIS knows how to do a restart or a crash. It knows how to manage and do those things. Docker knows how to do those things. That's different. This is an application triggered restart. So it's not once each health check, each restart, each upgrade. Well, we don't have those features yet. Right? When we start discussing and getting into those features, that's different. Right? Then we can start looking at and doing different things there. This is not a normal operation, correct? Health check, feature upgrades, those are going to be regular operations that should be happening on a regular basis. An app-initiated restart. Not sure this makes sense from a container perspective. Right. Yeah. We can improve this later if there is a way to improve this. From Robert, from a container point of view, the service doesn't actually, the container doesn't, won't stop because the process is still running, right? If we look at the program, this process still runs. It doesn't exit and stop the process. It doesn't get to that, right? Line 30 is the process stopping. So it doesn't get there. So the container will still run. Sounds like a Yagni situation. I agree, Hugo Dahl. This does feel very Yagni, right? You aren't going to need it. And yet, right? Am I taking on technical debt for when we do want to introduce these other features later? Perhaps. But if that was the case, then we would be designing with everything as an interface, everything completely extensible, and we would never actually write any concrete code because it needs to be extendable to start. Make it work, make it good in that order. Amen. If I do the first run and corrupt the settings, well, if you do the first run and corrupt the settings, knock it down and restart with a fresh install. It's a cached exception of an unconfigured wiki. That's another good way to describe it. Yeah. Make it work, make it good, make it fast. Yep. So, Janos, that's something that I think is a feature that we can add now that we have it actually working. Let's put some validation in. Let's put a check in to make sure that, yes, I can communicate to the database. Yes, I can do these various things and verify that it does configure properly, right? That validation, I think, is an excellent feature to add. We've been working on this project for a month and a half. I want to close it out. I want to say, we're done. It works. Go forth and be merry. So I am going to merge into dev and kill off the branch. Project first start. So we have all kinds of stuff here from not just me, but Daniel. To get this up and running. Yes, create that pull request. And then I want to... excuse me. And then I want to cut a version on another repo. Verifying configuration validity, especially across upgrades, not super easy. Yeah. And we can discuss and figure that out as well. So this is the pull request to merge it in. Lots of files changed. We can look at Azure DevOps and watch this being configured. There it goes. Getting the correct version of the .NET Core SDK. Come on. But these are questions that we can figure out and solve together. Absolutely. And I want to make sure that the solutions for them are things that folks that are learning can follow along with. And then as we add complexity, it's easy for them to ramp up. And I appreciate the discussion on this. I really do. And I'm not saying that your situations, that what you're describing is wrong. They're not wrong. I don't agree that they're appropriate right now. We can add them later. There's certainly going to be a time when it's going to make sense to put in additional factory methods, additional complexity. But let's measure and add those when appropriate. So, and all respect, and I very much appreciate the feedback from folks in the chat room. Brave Cobra and Janos, and absolutely, very good feedback. Let's add those capabilities as they're necessary. How can we learn layered architecture? I can build an MVC project, but I don't know layered architecture. Admiral Kier, I have a architecture workshop that's available on YouTube. If you go to the YouTube channel, there it is right now. Almost on cue, it's on screen. There's a playlist for the architecture workshop. Our friend Steve Smith shows us a little bit about that layered architecture, that clean architecture. You'll be able to follow along and check out that video over there. We've also got some links that go along with it. Check it out. If you have any questions, we'll be here. You can see the schedule down below. I think I'm next going to be on Friday. This is taking a long time to do anything here. I got to refresh it. Got the updates stopped. And here it goes. Restoring all my stuff. Build updates have still stopped. Yeah. All right. So that's building. I think we're going to be good, but I think I want to rebase. That adds complexity by itself. It's a one-time thing, except when it's not valid, then it's not a one-time thing. I got a ship. I went with the simpler solution. You can't approach a project uniformly, or else you'll never ship. Because each new feature, you're going to be continuing to abstract and abstract and abstract, and you'll never actually ship anything. Something's got to be concrete at some point. I never said it's a good approach. I said it's a good enough approach. No, it's not the con crud. I have reflux, and occasionally it bugs me here. Call it what you will. It does what we need it to do, and nobody's ever going to look at the code and say, well, I can't use this because I don't like the quality of the code. Do I want squash and merge? I don't think I want squash and merge. I think I actually want to rebase. Now it's squash. Do it. If you need to ship with functionality you're not comfortable with, you gave bad estimates. It incurs technical debt by itself, except when you need to change it. I agree. Technical debt is not inherently bad. Technical debt is only incurred when you're making a decision based on a feature that you know you have to build and you're not accommodating it. There isn't a feature that I know I need to build yet. And I'm going to delete the branch, and now dev is up to date with all of these features. And we can now go back and work in dev. I don't know when in the future. Is it going to be in my next release? I don't think so. Is it going to be in the release after that? I don't know. I'll incur that change when I get there. But it's not... There you go. Thank you, Robert. Let's wait until that true problem arises. Otherwise, I would be abstracting away a whole lot more. Everything's in English right now. At some point, we need to internationalize and localize. We've done some work towards that, but we're not there. It's not something that we're required to do yet. Some might say we should do it so that in your local languages we can absolutely do that, and that's fine. I always submit it. I always accept pull requests for localization. I agree, Tiago. It is difficult to make a trade-off between shippable and perfect. I agree. Internationalizing is something that I painfully know I do a terrible job at. And if you want to, in fact, if I were to be graded in college, one might say,
Mr. Blutowski, 0.0.
I'm not very good at it. But that's where I look to you as pair programmers to help me out with that. Not perfect, but DI is less debt-ish than a separate app. But it's not a separate app. I could do it as a completely separate hosted app in the same process and trigger it, and then when it's done, release that and start the main app and have two hosted applications. That's weird too. It's the same app but restarts itself. Yes. Because we've added in a module of functionality. And I think there's going to be other modules of functionality that we inject as well. So you can be smart and internationalize your app, or you don't. But if you don't have a workable system for translation, what use is that? I agree. It's there. It works. If anybody wants to submit a translation, go for it. I will absolutely accept your translations. We'll get you credit. You'll go up on the ticker, and we'll celebrate your contribution, and we'll make sure that we document, hey, it now supports Brazilian Portuguese, now supports French, now supports whatever. I am more than happy to accept your contributions, and I think I've shown that. And I'm very open to discussing all of this. All of these features and capabilities. All right. Cool. Let's talk about these protected articles, because I think we started down this path and it became a very interesting topic that we should consider, plan, and implement. So let's close this, that. Hey, Zenoff. Thanks so much for that kind cheer. We will, of course, match and make a donation to Girl Develop It. I am going to add you to my list right here of today's cheers so that when I start, when I make my next change to code, we'll drop in these two little bits here. Never Portuguese from Portugal. You know what? Helder Felipe. Oh, wow. I'm going to make sure I get this right. Helder Felipe Sousa Oliveira. Did I get it right? Did I catch it? Let me know. I only mentioned Brazilian Portuguese because I know there's a couple Brazilians here in the chat room. Yes. I got it right. Ha all right. So if we start thinking about our pages...
I got to renew this every time.
Thank you, Robert Tables. I appreciate the subscription, and we'll make a donation for that as well. All right, let's look at putting together some concept around a protected. I'm sorry, Tiago. Yeah, you know what? You're right. Portuguese, Portugal. All right, I got you. If we have a domain, let's look at our domain object here, and that's where I'll add our cheer graffiti here. So our domain object is actually hiding up here in the application, isn't it? No, wait a sec. No. There it is. So here's our article. Right now, it has this concept of is homepage ID equals 1. But we wanted to, it's like English American. Well, no, Helder Felipe Sousa Oliveira. I think it's more like American English. or you'll hear some of my friends from the UK call it American. Gonna go and speak American. It's also spoken in some African countries like Angola. Oh, yeah, that's right. I only mentioned Brazilian because I knew we had some Brazilian folks. American, that's right. We speak American down here.
Wow.
You speak American? Me too. I've had folks say to me, because of my mid-Atlantic accent, and I'm trying to lose it more and more. But I've heard people say to me that I sound like Tony Soprano's IT guy. Romanian is not that widespread except from immigrants. American. Hey, there's sequel, Mr. Magoo. Hello, hello. All right. Absolutely. Let's get to the code here. So I think we want to add not just is homepage here, but we were talking about adding this concept of protected. And there was a suggestion that maybe some of these are flags. Allow renames, allow deletions, allow content changes. And these are separate flags that you can set on here. Austrian German, says Stelzy. Wow. Guten Nachmittag, Stelzy. Good to see you. I have a Germany hat over there. I haven't worn it since the World Cup because last time I wore it, they lost in the first round. So I've been holding off on it. So I think besides is homepage, we should have this article features capability, and then we also need the concept of a page. Now, if I go back over to, let's look at index. Nope, wrong index. I'm going to keep this open, close everything else but this. And let's look at the actual details page. You know what? I'm going to jump to it with a control comma. That's better. So down here, if it is not the home page, go home. In that case, I'm actually kind of okay with the is homepage property there. But I don't think some of the other capabilities of some of the other features of the homepage should be wrapped up behind the is homepage property. Jokoho 482, you're crisscrossing German and English there. Laserbeam, what you working on is the question. We're working on a content management system that we call CoreWiki. We've been spending the last few months building this slowly but surely using ASP.NET Core, C#, and taking a cross-platform approach so it works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. And we've spent some time using Ubuntu, using a Mac, and using Windows like we are now, working on and building the application. So, you can find the repository for this on the wall down below here on my channel. And there's all kinds of videos that document how we've gone about building this, some of the decisions we've made, some of the great discussions we've had about it. We've had a really good discussion about some functionality today. But you can find that out on my YouTube channel, and you'll see a link to YouTube appear here where my name is. YouTube.com/C#Fritz. You'll see that pop up here in just a minute. Hey, there it is. So to finish my thinking, this I think is a valid, I think that's a legit thing there to determine whether to put the home page there. Cool. Oh, thank you, Laserbeam. I'm glad you approve.
Oh my.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So if we're going to put some collection of properties on our domain object here, right? And I'm just gonna scope this out, and then we're gonna drop our cheer graffiti in here. If we call this, if we call this something like article properties or article features, article features, right? If we did something like that, now article features becomes a thing, right? If we're going to put that enum somewhere, now it's got to live somewhere that it's accessible, everywhere that it's going to be pushed around, you know? And right now, this core project isn't, I don't think it's referenced everywhere. And we don't want these domain objects just referenced everywhere. This depends on, I don't think it depends on any projects, does it? No. So this is the lowest level. But we didn't want things relying directly on core. Let me think. Where do you think? Where do we put this capability, these article features? And where I place that, that's where I'll put our cheer graffiti today. I don't think it's in this data abstractions. Article properties. Article properties. Okay. Okay. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But we need to put this is going to be that bitwise enum. Ooh, a teeth mirror. That's a missing feature. Put it in the projects that article resides. Everybody who needs to know this. Yeah, that's in... I have created one with the admin role. Yeah. You're going to need to do that delete directly on the database right now. But we will need to add that feature. So if I put it here next to core, right? If I add a class, right? Article properties. And it's not going to be a class. It's going to be an enum. Decorate it with the flags attribute. Flags indicates that this is going to be a bit field. It's a set of flags that we're going to work on. Yeah. Okay. So we agree it should be part of core. Good. So now, right, the properties that we're going to put on this are going to be things like comments enabled. Now I could do this bitwise like this. I like to do it with numbers, with integers, so that it's a little bit easier to, well, actually, that's not bad either. To do it with hex. Let's start with it this way. Yeah, then we'll do the bit shift. Yep. Right, so comments enabled, and I'm just going to start throwing properties in here. Topic rename. Topic can be renamed. Right, so I can do like that now. Right. Hex is going to be harder to save in EF, I would expect. I think you're right. Binary constants. Okay, we can do that too. We can do that instead. So if I do it like that. 0B01. Yeah, I've got 0B01 there. 0B10. Yeah. So we're going to need to spell out all of the values going out. Yeah. If we just went for the int, like that, the value doesn't really matter. It's just what's going to be summed up and stashed in it. So, all right. 0B1 and 0B01 are the same. Ah, you're right, Stealthy. Okay, I get it. So topic can be renamed, comments enabled, and it does matter for the flags. Yeah. Thanks for stopping in, Tiago. Now, what were some of the other properties we were suggesting on this? While we're trying to remember that, I'm going to add this. A collection of various properties that determine interactions available with an article. So comments can be enabled or disabled across the board. Topics can be renamed. Static content. Okay. So if I go back over to article properties is there now. I think those, Stelzy, are more, those are pages. That's where we start to get into, these are something different. An article has a set of these properties. We're in the process here at work of removing those bitwise arrays. Wondering which mechanical keyboard I'm using. I have an article on my blog about it. This is the Vortex Racer 3. And I believe, if memory serves, Robert Tables has this same keyboard. There you go. Has a form. That's not bad either. Are those article types? Let me start with these three, and we can expand the article properties, because I think these we can key off of, start some functionality based on this, and go from here. So I have that feature, article properties. When I bring it back to data abstractions, article repository, right? So these are returning the domain article. Okay. Repositories, article repository. Yeah. Our models. There's our article DAO. Now we need to add in the article properties, which for the purposes of, let's see what we can do here. Where can I stick it? That sounded terrible. Public article properties. See, we even had this protected articles concept that we started. Article properties. So if I add that, and I want to force the data type, right? Is it enum data type? Yeah, enables a .NET Framework enumeration to be mapped to a data column. Yes. Type of the enumeration. Fantastic. Article properties. And I think I need to throw a type of around that, don't I? I think that works, right? Error message. No, I don't need that. Right? What camera am I using? Static content is an article type, not a property. Yeah, I was thinking that also when I was writing it in there. I'm going to pull that one out just for right now. We'll figure out more in a little bit here. So there's article properties. Let me look here. What, quick, 2 to the power of 11, 2048. No. Yes, 2048. So this is the Razer Keo that I'm using. My junior coders would really like to get their fingers on the colored keys. I know, the colored keys make it really fun. They can serve as Boolean flags. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Try putting flags beyond that. Sure. Right. For a collection of what might be just 5 or 6 properties, I'm okay with that. So, right, we could also create an array of bits. There's a bunch of different ways that we can do that to keep it small and focused without adding a whole bunch of roles or things there. Oh yeah, loving my G Fuel. Got me some HJKL keycaps for your Vortex Racer. Now, are they OEM? Because these are DSA. Are they a little bit taller, Robert? Okay, let me see here. So I have that there. This should save properly coming and going out of here, I think. We're going to end up generating a migration coming out of this, and that'll be okay. Wasn't there a mapping that we had to do here for AutoMapper? Don't see it in there. Right, so when article repository comes out, select, oh, it calls to domain, which is effectively AutoMapper. I'm going to put article properties in alphabetical order here so that it comes out appropriately. They aren't, they're actually shorter. It doesn't seem to impact things. Oh. Any idea where to get decent cherry caps? Decent and not too expensive. Oh, you do have some extras. Yeah. Drop me a Twitter DM with a link to that site. Binary is the best approach. Yeah, I kind of agree. Professional brown. DOS keyboard professional brown. Nice. Nice. Derived from short or byte. Yeah, we could do that too. Yep. This should go appropriately, I think. All right, so that should bring it out into the domain object appropriately, coming out of entity framework here, which means that now I need to walk up to, right, because we're going to get that, right, article repository is going to return a domain article, and that'll be called by the application when it's managing things like articles. Not the commands. It's going to be like the query, right? So things like get article. Yeah, it's going to map it into a article manage DTO. Where's that mapping done? I thought it was done in here. Yeah, there it is. So create map, for member, ignore, use value. That creates skeleton. We didn't include that. That got dropped. That I don't think we're doing that anymore. So there might be some dead code we can get rid of. What mischief? Want to try WASD? Yeah. Yeah. All right, so get article query should return article managed DTOs. And this should include that article properties. Article properties. Right, so there that is. And let's look at our other DTOs. No, that's the only one. Article reading DTO. Ah, there we go. Thank you, Robert. For that tweet. There we go. Put article properties over here. I need to fix that. So now it should flow into here. Yeah, it's a direct map because it has the same name. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I've broken something. Should map article correctly. Unmapped members were found. Review the types below. Well, here, this is exactly what I was just saying. Create new article command, destination. Okay. Yeah, I broke it at Tiefmere. You're right. All right, so create new. It's is it there? No. Should map article correctly. Didn't even get into this. It died here on configure auto mapper. Assert configuration is valid. Yeah, what's create new article command, article destination member list. Hang on, let's make this a little bit easier to read here. Let's take it full screen. Give me that. Let's see what this says here. Create skeleton article command to article. Well, I thought we got rid of that thing. Cherry MX clears don't have the click and they're your preference. Nah. Cherry MX blues. Yes, that is what I have. I really enjoy it. And I like it because it means that you know when I'm typing. All right, create skeleton article command. Let's... Well, hang on. Create skeleton article command is, I think, no more. I think we ditched that because we don't have the concept of creating a skeleton article. It has 4 references. Create map. There's a command handler for it, and there's a profile for it. So I'm going to delete this because we no longer do this as part of our regular application, because we no longer create skeleton articles. So I'm going to click this button here, which syncs with it. I'll find that, and I will delete that. Yep. And now I'm going to have a whole bunch of breakage because it doesn't exist in some places. So where was my find results? So this create map, this needs to go away because that doesn't exist anymore. Where else? Yep. This goes away. Create new article command handler. So we'll get rid of that. And we'll get rid of this. I think that's the last of it. Yeah. So my test should now run successfully. Where's my test? Test. Where's Windows? Test Explorer. Oh boy. I don't like that. If they don't click, how am I supposed to annoy nearby coworkers? Yeah. Yeah. There's that. Did somebody just start a stream or something? All of a sudden we lost a bunch of viewers. Nope. Doing a runner. Maybe lunch? Could be. All right, so I've got a bunch of broken tests now. That's great. Just wonderful. Right, so now create new article to article has that properties that it doesn't know what to do with. This is search tests. Yeah. And it's that same auto mapper issue. Okay. So I'm going to start with this one. Create new article command to article. Which is in... Right, create new article command. That profile is down here. Create new article command to article. So I need to map the properties. That feels weird. All right. Create new article then should have an ability to define those properties. So let's add into create new article command. Article properties. So that should map now properly. Right? And if we rerun that. Maybe all the US viewers were rushing to vote over lunch. Could be. Could be. All right. Go, finish. Build succeeded, and bingo. Rerun. Show me everything. Awesome. Got it. All right. The query coming out. Right, so get article. This returns the article manage DTO. That should have, okay, that has it on it. Get article query. Returns article manage DTO. Yeah, I think we're good. Right, search. For the article search result, I think we're okay with it not being on there. Do I have tests configured in the CI pipeline? Yes, I do. Do I have enough tests configured? No, I don't. Now, why do I have a red X there? I thought we just saw that my unit tests all ran properly. Where'd it go? Test, Windows, Test Explorer. Nope. I wanted it to be part of this thing. That's better. Why am I getting a red X there? Run it. Yeah, it worked. It worked, but why am I getting a red X? It's so confusing. Is there such thing as enough tests? I think there isn't. Yeah, Robert, no one ever has enough tests. Yeah. All right, so now we have that properties capability flowing all the way through. And, the wife just ran a questionnaire online about who she should vote for. She's patterned herself as an independent, not really affiliated with any one political party. She just ran through a questionnaire online, and it recommended that she vote for Oprah. Who knew? All right. I'm going to do one last thing here. I'm going to make sure that we can apply that article properties. You would vote for Oprah too? Okay. I don't know. She's Oprah. Oprah does Oprah things.
Oh my.
Let me come back over here. Now that we've added that feature, if I go down into CoreWiki, no, I need the entity framework one. Where did we put it? Is it CoreWiki data? Is that the name of the project? Where the entity framework stuff is? I think it is. No, that's not what I want. Go away. But if I did an F4 on this, CoreWiki data, okay. There it is. All right, so I'm in the right folder down here. So, or do I want to be in the web project? Let's go to the web project. Right, if I do .NET EF migrations, add introduced article properties. We should get that. Oprah all the things. Yeah. And we're a little bit over. I may slow down and after we get this built, stop here, and then we'll figure out how to implement some of these other features that we want later. Did I merge that branch? Yes, I did. Build failed. Build failed. Boo. Why did it fail? You better not show me that compile reference. You better not show me that compile reference. Build succeeded. Try it again. Oh, wait. Is it migrations or migration? Singular. Ah, and I got to provide the context. I think I need to put that on the end. It's a dash context. All right. And it's going to be application DB context. See if we can get that to work. Come on, do the thing. Your target project CoreWiki doesn't match your migrations assembly. Either change your target project or change your migrations. Change your migrations assembly by using DB Context Options Builder. Migrations assembly. By default, the migrations assembly is the assembly containing the DB context. Change your target project to the migrations project by using the Package Manager Console's project drop-down list, or by executing .NET EF from the directory containing the migrations project. All right, fine. See if that works. T Jugs. Yes, I am working as a programmer. Are you kidding? The plot thickens. Netcore app 2.1. Can I take a stab at the first install user interface issue? Might remove your restart logic. You're welcome to. Everybody's always welcome to put together a pull request. Absolutely. Hey, Ninja Ola. Nah, don't worry about it. Where is it pulling 2.1? Two 1.3, 2.13, 2.13, 2.12. Why is it pulling 2.1? That's weird. Because I have this installed, but it's not popping up in there. And it's, I've got 2.10 there. Why does it think that? See, and if I commit this, it's going to break the build. And I don't want to do that right now. Yeah, I'm going to need to wrap up here. Let me do this. Before I add any more here, let me look at my Git tags. I'm going to label this 0.6. And I'm going to push that tag. Could it be the target framework? .NET Core App 2.1 is fairly new. Yeah, it is. And yes, I am wearing an Apple Watch. Yes. Okay, so that tag is updated. But why am I getting... Right? I mean... That should be... I'm not sure where this is coming from. And I certainly have plenty of versions of .NET. But .NET Core App version... This is a little annoying. Target Framework, .NET Core App, Runtime Framework version. After having turned out that the entire solution is to comment out Runtime Framework. Yeah, I've already... I don't have that there. Well, I could do a .NET restore locally here. Right? Force that so that it regenerates the mappings. No. No. Right, and if I go and remove bin and obj directly, look at that. It recreated them instantly because Visual Studio is recompiling here in the background. Not that. It's not consolidated. All right, let's take a look at NuGet packages at the solution level. So if I force everybody over to 2.1.5, but see, it's not installed. It's not in these. I mean, I can. Well, Let's try install it and see what happens. .NET Standard 2.1 isn't out yet. It's not a thing. Restoring packages. Okay, so we should be all on 2.15. .NET Standard 2.1 is not a thing yet. .NET Standard 2.1 is not here. This is not a... .NET Standard 2.1 you're not going to see until .NET Core 3.0 is released in 2019. This is a .NET Core version 2.1 issue. And it does not match. There is nowhere that you can say .NET Core app version 2.1. That just flat out doesn't exist anywhere. There's a couple updates to some of my other things there, but that's not the issue. This is the entity framework one, and it's even pointed to 2.1.1. Nothing here. Oh, son of a gun. 2.1's scattered all over that JavaScript. Oh, forget it. Yeah, it's not in the CS Proj. Right? So now I'm looking at this thinking, well, what the heck? Right now, the other direction that it gave was I could specify the migrations assembly by using DB context options builder by saying migration assembly and then the name of it. By default, the migrations assembly is the assembly containing the DB context, which I've already got. Doesn't match your migrations assembly. This either change your target project or change your migrations assembly. Right. I need to change my target project to the migrations project by using the package manager's default project drop-down list or by executing .NET EF from the directory containing the migrations project, and it doesn't run. Exactly, Mordecai. And Shoestring Theory, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. You know what? I don't want to check in something that's broken here, but I feel like I have to. It's my dev branch. I want to check it in, and I want to get help from our friends on the EF team. I'm in the wrong project. Added article properties. Let me put a whip in front of this. Don't 100% recall everything I had to do to fix it. Yeah, I know. It feels weird. It feels bad. And it's not clear to me. It'd be nice if it told me, here's where I see this, right? If this said, not just the specified version cannot be parsed, where is that version? The specified version 2.1 in project, could not be parsed. But I don't have that capability to see that. So we'll push up those changes, and we'll come back and look at it later. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap things up here for right now. We've pushed out our changes. We've started down this concept of article properties because we have identified that a home page has more capabilities than just being a home page. we do want to be able to rename it. We do want to be able to light up and add and enable different features because a homepage is special. And we think there's other special pages available to us throughout the CoreWiki. And I think we're going to need to go through a review and address those separately, appropriately, throughout our application. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to our friends on the Entity Framework team and also on the SDK team and try and figure out why I'm getting this happening. So if you keep an eye on my Twitter, you'll see that a little bit later today. Of course, I will archive off today's video. This will be available on the YouTube channel a little bit later. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me. I will not be on Thursday. Thursday, I'm traveling to the NOP Commerce Conference in Las Vegas. I'll be at the Hard Rock Hotel on Thursday. Friday morning, I'm going to try and broadcast from the hotel. We'll see how well that goes. And I might have a guest that morning. We're trying to work something out. It should happen. We'll see. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm just looking around here to see if I can find somebody else in science and technology who's also broadcasting that we can raid right now. And somebody trying Golang. Let me see if I can find somebody good. Oh, there, Mark is starting. Let's raid Mark. So if you'd like to stick around and join, there we go, join the Code Rush stream. That's our friend Mark Miller. He's going to be working on some cool applications. Hey, I love code. Hello, hello. Thanks so much for the follow. Stick around. You don't have to click anything. You can join over there. But for me, I'm going to say goodbye, and I will see you on Friday. Alrighty? Take care. Say hi to Mark for me. We'll see you.
Switching to an SSD shortens load times and gets you into the game way faster. Samsung's 860 SSDs are the gold standard with the performance, the speed, the reliability that your gaming PC deserves. Less waiting, more playing.